I'm Andrew Waters. I'm a lawyer in Redwood City, California, and a part-time web application developer. I'm running for Congress in 2022 on a radical honesty platform, and I just thought today I'd show my first live stream as an explainer of how I did the Lattice user interface in my Slash.law practice management system product. So starting at the Slash webpage, here it is, Slash.law. Shameless self-promotion. This is what I actually use in my law practice to manage everything as opposed to a commercially available tool. The fact is, I didn't have all the features that I wanted in the commercial tool that I was using before. And so I simply wrote my own CRM system and case management platform. Slash has a number of interesting features that I think are pretty cutting edge. And it's also very helpful in my day-to-day practice. But the one I want to go over today is called Lattice, which is the next-gen user interface that I'm working on now. A bit of background before we get there. I am one of the only private sector users of the Pitbull operating system from General Dynamics Mission Systems. This is a custom variant of Red Hat Enterprise Linux with a security package that enables multi-level security. It's used throughout the US government and some allied nations, but in private sector use, it's pretty rare. I'm the only attorney in the world who has this product, and the reason I have it is to have access control that is fine-grained and customizable beyond the mere, beyond the level that Red Hat Enterprise Linux provides natively. So just some examples. With Pitbull, there are compartments that you can set up on the system through label encodings. And the label encoding file is just a plain text file that has different bits set on different compartments so that you have combinations of different compartments that you can use for interesting or useful things. So for example, in Slash, if we go to Lattice here, you'll see stuff like this. WP, SL, Richard Row, Dovey Row, rel to client. Let me translate that for you. Work product is a sensitivity label, and that is it corresponds to like top secret or whatever the government would use for extremely valuable and confidential information. Work product or attorney-client privileged or confidential, this is the abbreviation for work product. Slash is the service, that is Slash.law. Richard Row is the client, just a pretend client. Dovey Row, the case. And finally, we have rel to client, release to client. That is a releasability notation, which is actually a separate compartment on Pitbull. And I have that configured in order to provide an indication of what I can or cannot release to the client that may be work product. Anyway, up here at the top, work product / Lattice. That's just the compartment that we're working here with. Attorney eyes only, another releasability type notation. And then me, Andrew G. Waters. So this is the next-gen interface, and I have a couple interesting features here that I wanted to go over. One is obviously the toggles over here are very interesting and useful. If somebody walks by my screen while I'm in court and I don't have a privacy filter on my screen, hit master arm, and everything disappears. Turn it back on there. If I want to turn the shadows off and just have a plain Solaris-style interface, I can do that with the 3D UI toggle. Turn off KPIs, turn off the file work area, and so on. So let's see here. Just raise that a little bit. By the way, I'm on an 8K display, so it's almost 8,000 pixels wide, and this is a challenge for OBS, Open Broadcast Studio, but I'm making the best of it here, and hopefully it turns out well. So Lattice. Interesting features are obviously you can drag windows around. Everything is draggable. And you can minimize, goes down to the bottom of the screen, and most importantly, it remembers your original window position when you unminimize. You can close windows, you can resize, move this around if I want to. But the cool feature is focus detection and raising. So notice that these windows are on top of each other. When I click this and mouse down to drag, it automatically raises the window and puts the focus on that window. And without releasing the mouse button, I can drag it around. So this is extremely useful because this behavior is similar to how your desktop works, and so on. So where to next? the file manager. These are actual compartments on the Pitbull server, and here I have in the bottom window both the icons for the files, areas for dropping them into different compartments, notations for releasability, and also a trash can. And I have a console here that indicates where the files are going. You can see it's just very simple at this point, but I'm working on it to make it more advanced. So I can kind of click around and do different things with this. I can also close that if I want to. I can create new tasks or new emails to people. Once again, the focus detection and raising works. These are actual colleagues of mine that I work with. And I can do whatever I want with that. Close. Okay, so that's Lattice. I'm going to reload here to make sure I have a clean screen. How does it work? Well, let's go to the actual script. There it is. This is obviously all contents copyright me, all rights reserved. But the interesting thing is the drag code, the core drag code was on the W3C consortium website. But other than that, I completely wrote this from scratch. And I'm very proud of my work with this because I think it has an innovative technique for focus detection and raising on an HTML-driven web page. And that's just kind of the nutshell version. So, style sheet, we've got different windows and window classes and window IDs defined. Window routine, that corresponds to this window right here. Window routine header would be this part of the window where it says routine task. Got the actual window ID here, which is, I think that's the overall canvas, so to speak. Window priority, we've got window priority header. These are just kind of copies of each other because I was not the most efficient when writing this, just because I wanted to get it working. And so I have different window classes for the different colors corresponding to routine, priority, urgent, or critic. And I kind of modeled those precedence levels off the government's system. So I've got close boxes, minimize, reset, headers, control panel, etc. And that's just the style sheet portion of the page. But the really cool part is the scripts. Here we are at the bottom of the page, that is. Okay, let me just get this on the screen here. Allow drop. I added the trash logic some time ago. Drag, drop, more trash logic. Revert cursor function to change the cursor when I go to drag a window. Got different functions to handle checkboxes. Email, and the spawn window function actually creates the new window for, at least for email and tasks, not for the remainder, which is hard-coded currently. Handle master arm, that changes the display element to none for all the elements on the page when I click the toggle. Handle toggle obviously handles whatever toggle was clicked. And then, okay, I added the trash can a while back. Okay, so the drag element, the drag script rather. Here I have each of the hard-coded windows that are actually on this page, and I have the drag element function being called on each of these with move as soon as the page is loaded. The core drag code starts here and ends here, and that's what is from the W3 Schools webpage, but everything else is customized. For example, the minimize logic added August 2021 minimizes the windows and critically keeps track of the original position of the window so that when you minimize or unminimize, when you unminimize, it goes back to the original position. I also have a console log that indicates the set position and the original position and so on. Unminimize goes back to the original position. Close, that handles the close box. And then my favorite part is handle focus. This one is deceptively simple, but it was very complex to do, and I'm very proud of the result. Initially, it works by getting an array of all the windows, and then it picks the focus, the window that's requested for focus. It gets the z-index of that window. So whichever one the user clicks on, it gets the z-index and it selects all the panels in the current window, gets the z-index of the one that was clicked. Then for each of these, it determines the z-index of the windows that are in the window array, and if the target window is lower in the z-index than the next window in the array, then the selected window's z-index is increased by 10 until it's the highest window. So maybe that's not the most efficient way of doing it, but anyway, that's how I did it. I think it's pretty original. So we also logged to the console when we set the z-index. So if I go to the console here in the browser, and where is that on the Firefox? Okay, here it is. Browser console. Let's put that over here. All right, I meant to do JavaScript console. Hold on. JavaScript console. There we go. Console. Okay. So as you can see here, I'm going to clear this out here first. Okay, we'll reload the page. This page is in Quirks mode. Not sure what that means, but anyway. Set draggable window. You see that? Now here's the key. When I click on routine task right here, you see that it initiates a drag operation and also selects the z-index for all the windows. See here, it has the z-index for all the windows. It incremented the window routine 1 z-index by 10, and it said that it's done in 2 milliseconds. That's perfect. And then when I released the mouse button, it had completed drag operation notification to me. So that's kind of how it works. As you can see, the FPS is pretty good, 60 frames per second or less, and sometimes it goes over 100, depending on what I'm doing. But it does actively log information to the console as it does different things. So frames per second is based on the excellent script by Frogs on Stack Overflow, and I experimented with different filter values, and the lower the filter value, the more it affects the FPS with temporary variations. So I tried to do something that was optimal. Anyway, that's a basic run through of how Lattice works. And I'm very excited about using this in my actual law practice in the future. Currently, the CRM system is a 1990s style static web page, just with some chart information. And Lattice with the next gen features is going to be great, particularly when I integrate everything with Pitbull and have the actual file system mapped to the Lattice interface and all the compartments accurately reflected here. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. And whoops. Oh, there we go. Okay. Thanks for watching. And once again, I'm the candidate who codes. Thank you.